HDFS itself is not capable of reading the data. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Can you explain that? It is a little confusing for me.
Yeah. To read the data from the HDFS, you need a map.
No, that's not the case. You don't need to use MapReduce.
Okay.
You can, so once you put data into HDFS, you can retrieve the data. And MapReduce has nothing to do with it. Okay.
Itself maintains the data actually.
No, MapReduce is simply a mechanism that is provided for you. Okay. So what do? Okay, you get huge volume of data, which is growing all the time. And what do you want to do with it? You want to get some interesting, you want to look at that data and get some useful information out of it, right? So what do you do with Hadoop? Hadoop first, it lets you store that data. It lets you store huge volumes of data, right? Not terabytes, petabytes, okay? Without having to worry about redundancy, right? Failover, etc., etc. That's the first part. And what is MapReduce? Now, when you start asking questions of that data, you can implement, an application in practically any programming language. Okay, but what do? You follow the MapReduce principles when you write that application. You write a script or a small, application, right? And you follow MapReduce in that. And then you can tell Hadoop, now you run this job for me. So it can run MapReduce jobs for you. So it has nothing to do with reading or writing the data. And because the data is in HDFS, okay, MapReduce can run without, it can run with lower chances of failure without having to worry about where data is located. And there are a number of things that HDFS provides for you to be able to run MapReduce. Okay, so what it does, for example, is, so your MapReduce task may be very simple. Okay, it might be a very, very simple question. Out of all the, let's say, out of all the customers on my website who made any purchases, how many of them, okay, how many of those purchases involved some products X, Y, and Z? This is a simple question you want to ask, right? But if you are an Amazon or an eBay, this data itself is many, terabytes and petabytes of data. Okay, you don't want to really put this in a, you might have it in a relational database, but there is no realistic way for you to get answers from a relational database. And especially if you want to ask this question let's say every 10 seconds, right? Every 10 seconds, if a large newspaper website wants to ask a question, okay, or a Twitter wants to ask a question, which is the trending topic? You have a billion tweets. There's no relational database that is going to be able to answer this question every 10 seconds. Okay, so when you ask this question, the question is very simple, and probably you can implement it in like 5 lines of code. But the 5 lines of code follows the MapReduce principles.
To read the data from the...
Yes, to answer that question. And you will see the example today. We are actually going to do that. Okay, and if that is MapReduce, then you submit it as a job to Hadoop, and it will answer that for you every 10 seconds on a million, on like a terabyte of data. Does that answer your question?
So we say that using MapReduce, the network latency, Hadoop, using the network latency is reduced. So they say that we take the code to the servers. So what is that?
Yeah, okay, this is it's a good thing you brought it up. Once again, I want to say again, controversially, that you don't have to worry about latency. Why? Because you are right, they say this, right? And the principle is called data locality. Right? It's called data locality. And what is that? In HDFS, your data is distributed on the data nodes. Correct? And what is it that runs MapReduce? Quiz question, by the way. The two components of HDFS are your name nodes and data nodes.
Yes.
What are the two components of MapReduce in Hadoop? From the role play, who was, okay, we didn't have the
Tracker, job tracker.
one is the job tracker and the other is the
Task.
task tracker. Correct? And it just so happens that when you set up a data node, you can also say that it's also a task tracker. Okay? So what is your job tracker? When I ask this question, which is the trending topic right now in the last 15 seconds, that is my job. Right? You've written a piece of code and you submitted it to Hadoop. That's the job. It has to run this job. And what it will do is, that job is split into tasks and it is sent to the task trackers. Right? And because some of the task trackers also happen to be data nodes, right? They will perform that processing on the data blocks in HDFS, right? Which are on the same node. And that is why it is called data locality. Okay? Remember, this is not a hard and fast rule. Okay? And that's why, again, I said you don't really need to know the answer to this, because Hadoop hides that from you. Correct? What do you want to write? Do you want to write code that focuses on, okay, sort these tweets by number of people following it and tell me which is the top 5? Or do you want to write, okay, find me 10 data nodes, 10 task trackers, make sure they are the same, okay, so that data is local, and now run this task. What programming do you want to do?
First reading.
What is the level of abstraction you are operating at? You are operating at that level, right?
Yeah.
I want to answer the question. I don't want to worry about the topology, the infrastructure, the cluster, where the data is located, how it's going to be run. Correct?
Yeah.
But remember, this differs between the two phases of map and reduce. Map tasks and reduce tasks. Okay? Data locality can be leveraged most during map tasks, but not necessarily during reduce tasks. Okay? We'll go deeper into it maybe later, but if you have a question, you can ask.
So in the older distributed, right, the data was actually transferred from the servers to the client. So and then the processing was then it was computed. So huge data, so it takes time. So now they say that we take this code to the servers, and so it is not hard and fast rule that we need to
No, it
execute
is not
that.
a hard and fast rule, but it is part of the mechanism of Hadoop that one of the ways it achieves some efficiency is that the tasks are likely, okay? So what happens? Your job is split into tasks, correct? Again, take the same example. I'll just go on for just half a minute again about this at a very, very high level. Okay, so my 10 gazillion tweets are located in HDFS somewhere on some set of data nodes. Correct? And I'm asking this question, right? Which topic is trending? Correct? So now what has to happen is this data has to be, it's obviously this data has been split into a number of blocks and they are located across HDFS in data nodes, right? Multiple copies of each block on different data nodes. For each tweet, there is at least 3 copies sitting somewhere. Correct? And when I ask my question, the first thing it has to do is it has to compute what is called an input split. That means my gazillion tweets, wherever they are stored, and whoever has to now run this MapReduce job, right? I'm going to farm out the MapReduce job, right? Into multiple tasks, right? And to each task, I give it an input split. Correct? Out of my gazillion tweets, I get 10 million input splits as per the HDFS block size, right? We spoke about HDFS blocks, correct? So what is the input split? It says to this task, now you run this MapReduce and the data you will use is this input split. Where is the input split? It's in, where is it?
It is in the data.
Yeah, but in what is it in? What is it stored in? Not name node. Name node doesn't store anything. I mean, right?
So job tracker will, so it will pass.
Where is the input split? Where is it actually physically located?
On the server, data node, on the server,
On the data node.
Data node.
In HDFS.
in HDFS, yeah.
Okay, so please remember, again, when you want to understand Hadoop, remember that, there is a level of abstraction. When you want to understand internals, you go beneath the surface. But to understand something conceptually, you use the abstractions.
Okay.
Correct? So where is the input split? It's in HDFS. It's some set of blocks. And where is the task going to run? It's running on a task tracker on some node. So Hadoop may try and ensure that the block for that input split is on the data node closest to that task tracker, which is possibly what? The same node. Okay, but remember, these are not hard and fast rules. And why? Because Hadoop is giving you that level of abstraction. You need not worry about these things. If you are interested, you can dive deeper and understand these things. But you need not worry about it, right? Just like you program every day. You're not looking at the CPU, actually fetching your bytecodes and performing one instruction after the other, right? You're not doing that, right? You're operating at a level of abstraction. Correct?